Yeah, you are welcome to the Benin Empire Advancement League, the home of all the Benin's. Yeah, I say Happy New Year to those of you who hasn't been with us since the beginning of this year. I say Iselogbe from my own beautiful language. We always say Ogbe Isena, which means I wish you the same. Yes, sorry, there's a lot going on in the empire. We this week we have seen so many changes in the Benin Empire. But first of all, uh, let me talk a little bit about our organization, what we are doing, and how we are going to be doing things in the future. As this, as the headline of this broadcast stated, yeah, we are going to be doing a lot more about culture, about supporting the palace, supporting the Omo N'Oba of Benin, supporting so many things, activities in the Benin Empire as a whole. And at the same time, uh, this organization is expanding, expanding and expanding, getting bigger and bigger. We are growing and we are growing. So we need you to be with us in this period to grow this organization to a world standard or one of the best in the world. Yes, as you can see, before the new year, we were having some events in Lagos, some get together and some other event that took place. And coming also soon is going to be something in Benin because Benin is our homeland, it's our origin, it's our root. So we are going to be having a very, very sophisticated base in Benin. And from there, maybe we'll be expanding to somewhere. Uh, I don't want to measure yet. It should be uh, a sort of surprise. As you know, we also have a branch in Ghana, and our branch in Ghana is also a very, very solid one, and it's also growing very good and very fast. So thank everyone for your support for last year, and this year we need you more, and a lot is going to be coming from this organization about our history, about our culture, about our heritage. Yeah, we are going to be inviting so many guests to be joining us in our show. Those who are willing to be with us or want to associate with us, because due to my name, Dele Bello, many Edo people doesn't want to associate with me. And yes, I'm a typical Edo person. My name is just a name, but from character, from everything, I'm a typical Benin person, typical Edo person. Because many people have been saying this uh, to my face, but your name doesn't resemble a Benin person or a Edo person. Yes, even so many of our forefathers also have a foreign name. You know, uh, this name I'm bearing, I gave it to myself due to some good reasons. I have my own original name from my own origin given to me by my mother and my father. Uh, yes, uh, we have seen a lot of changes in the administrative system of the palace of recent days. Sorry. Yes, I have a question here. Yes, my knowledge started. I can say during Oba Ohen or before Oba Ohen. My knowledge started from there. My father was one of the sons of Oba Ohen. Uh, for many people to understand, my father and Oba EWUARE the first, they were of, I would say, one of the most trusted people among themselves. So if anybody has a doubt, you should please forget that. And it causes so many times, even till present day we are talking about now. In my own dukedom, I call it dukedom because my own dukedom was, or in our own dukedom was larger than so many of these new created territory for the Enogis as we are having today. But the question is not just related to Oba or not related to Oba. As an Edo person, as a Benin person who originated from the Benin Empire, you are as well as Oba Pekin or Oba child. Because many people will not understand that, because especially we the Edos, we believe we Edos, we are the only tribe that can really claim the lineage of the Oba of Benin. Actually, the Oba of Benin, most of them also have a foreign mother from Eastern land or from other places that you know. But that doesn't withstanding, the Oba bloodline have been there for thousands of years. I can tell you, and it will remain the same, no matter anybody or any government that come in. They can't do anything to change that. You can do it by writing, but it won't affect the image of the Oba of Benin, nor the image of the Edo people, or the chiefs, the Diongweres, or the Zamas and other. That will not happen because the Benin Empire or uh, the Benin Empire was built on the solid rock that everybody need to be copying from the whole world. Even the British copy the system of the Benin Empire, you know, use it to administer their own, because the system of the British Empire the the before the invasion of Benin was a little bit different from what they're having now. So you can see so many things that is from the Benin Empire, which was very, very useful and it was very, very important and it is very, very important we keep our culture, we keep our heritage, uh, and preserve it for our children, for our great grandchildren, for our great great grandchildren, and for those who are willing to be a part of the Benin Empire. Of recent days, we saw the issues with the Enogis. The Enogi, some of them, I would not like to put all of them in the same shoes. You know, there are excuses from some of the Enogis that they were called into a meeting and they were given a paper to sign. They didn't even understand what's in the paper. You know, I believe saying such a thing as a Nogi, you need to be a little bit ashamed of yourself because most of you are well educated. Most of you are doctors, you are professors, and for those who are less educated, there's no also an excuse because before you sign any paper, you need to read it carefully. And what you didn't understand, you ask questions. There are people who can explain it to you. Those excuses you people are just giving, I will not say it's an excuse. It's a laughable excuse to say the fact. You know, because one of the reasons for all these issues is because we love money too much. We love money more than our own heritage, more than our own culture. We can also see what the Christianity is doing to us as an empire today, or Islam is doing to us as an empire today. I'm not trying to put the blame on any religion or something like that. It is we ourselves that is doing this to ourselves. If we doesn't feel so inferior in many ways, none of us would have been a Christian or a Muslim. It is very, very uncommon in Europe to see somebody worshiping an African god. It might be 2 in 100, even 2 in thousands, because they have their determination. They believe on their own system. If you live in Europe or you have something more to do with some people of European or American who are not blacks, then you will understand why it's very, very important to preserve our culture, to support the Omo N'Oba of Benin, to preserve the culture, to do anything that is necessary to make sure the system remains. I can remember a quote from the late Alafin of Oyo, which says, the Benins were having the most sophisticated civilization in Africa, even more sophisticated than that of the British and the whole of Europe as a whole. When they came to our land, what they saw made them to be jealous. And they make up the plan to destroy the civilization, and which they succeeded in doing with the help of our people. You know, because I will always say this: Obaseki was not alone in that plan. There were so many people who were involved in those plans in that very period. There were many people involved, the commanders of the army, and so many of them were involved. Because that is an evidence, because the Benin Empire has the largest army in the whole of West Africa as of that period. How could that happen that the whole army of that period were dispatched to other rural areas? Things were done deliberately so that the Beninese couldn't defend themselves. People were bribed, people were promised so many things, like Obaseki was promised the Oba of Benin and others to take over the Benin Empire. But I think people doesn't learn from their mistakes or doesn't learn from history. If people learn from history, they will understand every effort that is being made uh, always collapse. It may not happen immediately, but time after little time, things will start changing again. We start changing in favor of the Benin Empire, in favor of the Oba of Benin, and so many other things. Yes, I will say this right now that the Enogis who are still not willing to turn back from their wrongdoing should receive a heavy punishment, should be removed from their positions, because this is very, very important to find peace in the Benin Empire. And I believe our Omo N'Oba will be coming up very soon to address all these issues. And we can already see the signs that our Omo N'Oba is taking steps. The removal of the of few people, like the leaders of the Enogis and all that, was a very, very important step. It's a very, very important step, sending a message out to the others, turn back. Because, as I said the other day, the Benin Empire, or the palace, is like a river. You throw everything in, they will absorb it. They never take offense, they never make enemies. I'm directing this message to Obaseki and his co-host, who is trying to who is making every effort to make sure they reduce the power of the Oba of Benin. That will not happen because a piece of paper, as I said before, cannot change anything. Those patriotic Beninese know themselves, and those who are not patriotic Beninese, they know themselves. We saw what happened there was a newspaper I read 2 days ago, and not 2 days ago, yesterday, somebody coming out to say the action of the Oba of Benin was too harsh, it doesn't warrant it. I don't understand the part this person is playing in this whole situation. As if that person is a journalist, he must be a paid journalist from somebody to be writing everything in favor of the government. Because there's nobody on earth, there is no boss on earth that will tolerate any such a thing that really happened in the Benin Empire. I believe the Oba of Benin was so lenient to those people. Because if you do it in a company, you will be leaving that company the same minute. These are government officials who believe they can do whatever they like because the law gave them everything. I laugh. The government is existing because we allowed it to be existing. If we wake up tomorrow and say we doesn't need the government of the Edo or the Edo state government, they have to pack their load and leave the Benin. Because before the coming of the British, before the coming of the Europeans or any other tribes into Benin, we were already having our sophisticated government. It was just such a unique system of government that every other kingdom, let me call the kingdom, those who are now calling themselves kingdom, cannot even match. We all should be proud of this present Oba of Benin, who is doing everything possible to make sure all our artifacts are being brought back home. I believe, and I'm still saying this, there are foreign agents and foreign bodies that is working with the government to destabilize the Benin Empire, to create chaos so that these artifacts remain wherever they are today, especially the British Museum, the British government, the government of the USA, and most of the museums where our artifacts are being stored in America. Because we have some elements in the Benin Empire who are also cooperating with those people to make sure fake information are being spread, fake history are being posted outside, to make sure they destroy the reputation of the Benin Empire. But this is going to be very, very difficult for them because they have started making these mistakes. Number one, even before these artifacts were taken for Benin Empire, there were already slave trades. People were sold taken from Congo, they were taken from Zimbabwe, they were taken from Kenya, they were taken from so many other parts of Africa, also in, let me say, in West Africa. The Benin Empire of those days stand firmly against any human trade, any human trafficking. We were standing in the ways of the Europeans. We stand on their way during the slave trade. We stand on their way when they were killing our people. We stand on their way when they were doing all sorts of nonsense to our people. We were the last backbone of Africa in that period. The Oba of Benin of those days know exactly human rights. The so-called human rights system was also copied from us. It's from us they know what human right is. Because human rights in the Benin Empire of those days were fully respected to the extent that our people or our obas make a pronunciation. Any Benin person never go to slave. And people should not make the mistake to compare slave with a servant. A servant is very different from a slave. Slaves are being sold out to their masters. The Beninese, some people were having servants who served them, who helped them doing their things, who also inherit so many things from them. They were being treated as their children. Some of them were sent to school. Some of them were sent to school. Somebody like Ajayi Crowder, he got his education from Benin. Many people will not understand because human rights was written boldly for the Beninese, how to treat your servant, to make sure your servant also grow up to become a person. In some ways, even some of those captured people during war were brought to Benin. Some of them were treated humanly compared to what Europeans are doing today or to America in America today. We all remember what happened in Iraq, in Abu Ghraib. We all remember that. We remember what happened in Afghanistan. We remember what happened in Syria. We remember what happened in so many other parts of the world. How the British formed lies to invade other countries as they did to our own country. I will not say I'm not in Nigeria, but before I become in Nigeria, I'm from the Benin Empire. And what is going on today, because I read an article 2 days ago in Australian newspaper about the artifacts, that the New Yorker Museum is refusing to return our artifacts with the reason that the Benin Empire was involved in slavery or in slave trade for over 300 years, that we profited from the slave trade. Because we were exchanging, they said we were exchanging slaves for melanin. This is what was used for the artifact. But they forgot, before the coming of the Europeans to Africa or even to Nigeria, before the Portuguese came, our artifacts were already existing. They were already existing before the Portuguese came in, even during the Ogisos. So let me lock the door because there's a lot of noise coming in. Now let me leave it quiet. So we were having all this artifact before they came. Using this as an excuse is just rubbish. There's nobody who can understand that. We know the system of the Americans and the British people. In Syria, when the war was going on, in the watch eye of the British and the America, all the museums in Syria were looted. They were saying these were the ES or what they call them or whatsoever. But there's a big evidence that those artifacts were stolen by the British and the Americans. We saw what happened in Iraq. Immediately after the invasion or during the invasion of the Iraq, we saw what happened to Iraq Museum. We saw what happened to the presidential palace. It's exactly the same thing that happened in Benin. This is the modus of operator. I don't know what to call it again. I'm sorry with the name. That is the system they used to operate. There's nowhere in the world the British went or the Spanish went in the world that they don't store the artifact and raised the whole people or the whole people living in that area. They are stated. They were existing before the British and the Spanish came. And today they are no more. They are no more. The Red Indians in Jamaica, for example, before the Spanish people came to Jamaica, they were existing. And immediately the Spanish come, they erased them. Today, there's no one single person that is existing. I think there are so many things our people need to understand. When you collide with the enemy or collide with foreign force to destroy your empire, these people, they will never accept you. They will never accept you till the day you end your life. Because Obaseki of those days was hoping of those things. The British also tricked him out. They tricked him out, and you can understand how foolish he was. To say the fact. Because we need to be reasoning very good before we go into such action. These enogies of today, they should be reasoning very good before going into any action, before doing any sort of rubbish they are doing today. I can count 100 cases where so many of these enogi were driven out of their villages, their palace burned down. They ran to Benin, ran to the Oba Palace to hide. I can tell you, in so many cases, these enogi were chased in the highways, people trying to kill them. they run to Benin to hide in palace. With the help of Oba of Benin, they'll be provided security, taking care of them. You know? So there are so many many issues that the Oba of Benin stepped in with his administrative people to protect some of these enoges we are talking about today. Somebody promised you people to be getting money. You doesn't ask, where is this money coming from? Why are we getting this money? For what reason? You have a paper you should have read as a professor, as a doctor, as a graduate. Even though you are not a graduate, if you finish a secondary school or something like that, you should have been able to read this paper. Even though you cannot read those papers, but there are people who can read those papers for you and explain the meaning of this paper for you. I would say these people, they did what they did because of greediness. Because of greediness, I believe they were expecting more money. They believe, or they were expecting the Beninese will be kept quiet when they are doing this. No, we will not keep quiet. We will not keep quiet until most of you are being removed. There's still a little space for you people to turn back, to go and plead with the Omo N'Oba of Benin, plead with the palace of what you people did. I believe there should be a consequence for every one of them. Knowingly or unknowingly, sign those papers. There must be a consequence. And I believe there's a plan behind all these things. Because somebody from the palace of the Omo N'Oba of Benin calling those chiefs to come and sign this paper. There's much more behind these things. In the past few days, I've talked and looked at every angle, of everything. And most of our people today, they are so corrupt. Most of the chiefs. They are so corrupt that they are not even supposed to be enoge in their community. Most of these enoges has been existing during the Ogeso period. They came far to this stage. And I can tell you today, most of these enoge, they are going to suffer for what they did today, because this is going to have a very, very huge effect in their communities. And most of them should be removed immediately. Suspend, remove their power, appoint another person to be the enoges of those communities. Because all the effort of the palace to bring peace to all our community is like these people are working against peace in our land. And we need to let them know the consequence. We need to let them know the consequence of their doing. That what they did is an abomination. It's against all what we know in the Benin Empire. And they should be punished for it. The system of the Benin Empire is built so solid that nobody can really do anything. During the Oba Ewakbe, we saw what happened. People collide also. So we don't go to palace again, we don't go to. But the Beninese later also realized that without the Oba of Benin, without Omo N'Oba of Benin, the Edo people is lost. And during the invasion also, we saw what happened. We saw how we were relegated, destroyed, and reduced to this extent. Half of Nigeria, even more than half of Nigeria, belongs to the Benin Empire. Obafemi Awolowo, Ajayi Crowther, and so many of them did evils to the Beninese. They went as far as to convert the Benin Empire into Yoruba. Without the Oba of Benin today, some of you people will not be calling yourself Edo, or calling yourself Issa, calling yourself Urobo, or whatever you call yourself today. It's not a disrespect, but this is how I can say it to some of our brothers to allow them to understand. Oba Akenzwa of blessed memory fought to create Benin State, to make sure the Benin tribe, most of them, stay together. Did a lot to make sure the Edo people call themselves again Edo people. We should understand, without the Benin monarch, without the Omo N'Oba Nedu Kwapolopolo, the Edo would have been lost. The Edo people would have been lost. Even our language we are speaking, the Edo we are speaking, would have been lost. Even the Eastern would have been lost. Because Obafemi Awolowo was very, very ready to do that. And with their action group and so many other group that was involved, they were very, very ready to destroy the Benin Empire with the help of the British people that period. And we saw so many things that has been done against the Benin Empire, against our kingship system, against every other thing that is in Benin, but nobody can destroy it. It will remain forever and forever. The British Empire will go down, the Benin Empire will remain. Other empire will go down in the world, the Benin Empire will remain. Because our history is not just written, it's also carved in the stone. That the coming generation, they know who they are. This is the work of this organization. And this is what we are working towards, to make sure in the future the Benin Empire regain its strength back. Being a self-determined or determined nation of its own, the Ubini Nokbewo, as it was pronounced before, the inexhaustible. If you look at the whole resources of Nigeria today, I can tell you that at least 80% of the resources of Nigeria today is coming out of the Benin Empire. That is why they call it Ubini Nokbewo, the inexhaustible. To the Enoges, I believe the Edo people has learned a lot in this short period of time to understand the importance of the Benin Empire to the Edo people. Before the coming of the British or coming of any other empire or any of the Europeans into the Benin Empire, we were having a very, very solid government that these people were so envying of our system. envy of our civilization because we are more civilized more than them. The only thing we were really lacking of is a modern weapon. If we would have the modern weapon that period, I don't think the British would have tried what they tried. And if some of our military commanders didn't cooperate with the British, I don't think the British would have did what they did, because the Benin Empire of those days their army was one of the most sophisticated army in the whole of West Africa. That there's no other region that can really challenge the power of the Benin Empire during that period. The Benin Empire stopped so many of the Europeans, stopped their activities as a slave traders, stopped them from robbing our resources, and this was one of the reasons that we lost all what we were having, because our people collide with them. It took the whole of Europe together to be able to defeat the Benin Empire. That should give you a sense of how strong we were that period, on how our system functioned that period. If Governor Obaseki come out today and continue to do what he's doing, he should understand it's always there, EWUARE. You cannot push the Edo people into one direction. It doesn't happen. The Benin people, they have a solid root. The root is very deep, that we are not afraid of any wind that is blowing. Before the coming of these people, we were having our God, Osadowodua. We believe there's God. We believe there's everything we need to be a nation, or we were having our nation. The destruction of the Benin Empire affects the whole of West Africa. That was the collapse of Africa as a whole. Then they were being able to divide Africa into different areas. The Benin Empire, after a long struggle, after a long battle, they were able to amend or to merge us with the so-called Nigeria today. If Nigeria is no more tomorrow, maybe after the election 2023, it will be very, very important that the Benin Empire is being returned the way he was brought into Nigeria. So my message to those Enogies today, please start packing your things and be leaving the palace. Leave the palace of the Benin Empire. Leave the palace of the community you are, because it is because of the appointment of Oba of Benin that he become Enogi. It's not the appointment of the government, as if people are now trying to play. And some of you journalists playing the puppet of the government, you will hear this very soon. You will know from the Edo people that EWUARE, because the Edo people are already mobilizing. They are waking up and fast. So we all should be aware of what we are doing and how we are doing it. Also in the past few days, I sent some criticisms to some of our social media friends and country people. because of the attitude, how this matter came out. Actually, yes, the criticism was all right. But at the same time, I want to thank you people that this matter was brought up so that the Beninese really know where they stand. And I can assure you that me and my organization, with the power of my organization, we stand with the pilots, we stand with the Omo N'Oba of Benin. Any decision that is being taken by the Omo N'Oba of Benin, we stand with them. Come what may. I will not say we doesn't recognize the government of Edo State. Yeah, they are there. They are there and they are there. But they are not our government. The government we know is the government of the Oba of Benin, the system of the Oba of Benin. The grassroots work the palace is doing, there's no government in Nigeria, no government in Europe can do it. We have this unique system going back to the last village, to the last camp in the Benin Empire. They know exactly where they are going to. Even some of our government officials, when they're having issues, they go to the palace for settlement. So if somebody is coming up to undermine the institution, it's like you are just digging your own grave, because the people who is supporting you, they are the one who is going to push you into that grave very soon. And I believe some of those people who call themselves the enemy of the land, they are the people who is going to push you into that grave very soon. So beware of your friends you're having in the government, because you believe they are doing good, they are doing this and that. They are also digging your grave. They are also digging your grave for their future, because the other people will never forgive you people of what you people are doing right now. So I would like to stop for today and also talk a little bit more about our organization. We are going to be coming out with a brighter packet for the Edo people, for the Eastern people, for all the tribes of the Benins that recognize themselves as Benin. We are going to be trying our best to be reaching out to you people, to know more about you people. And we are very, very happy with what we have achieved the past 2 years, almost going to 2 years. So I'm very proud of the leaders and the members of the Benin Empire Advancement League. Great job. Thank you, people, for your support, for your relented, for all your efforts, for your great efforts to make sure this organization stand where it is today. And we are growing, we are going to be greater. To be raising our voice so that people will hear our voice more as it is right now. So thank you very much. And I say to every one of you, once again, Iselogwe, and I wish you a happy weekend. God bless every one of you. Oba Atokpe, he said,